There are many ways to organize a speech. I want to share with you what I consider to be the most important things to consider when working through this process. We'll talk about the importance of the subject matter, letting the organization stem organically from the topic, principles of organization, and some tricks for coming up with the main points that meet the demands of your subject. If there is one thing to keep in mind through the entire process of organizing and writing your speech, it is that nothing is more important than the subject matter. If you've been smart about choosing your topic, then I assume you want to give the best possible speech about a topic that is important to you. That said, every choice you make in the organizing of the speech needs to be motivated by the subject matter. One thing I am not going to do is teach you to follow any particular pattern for organizing your speech. As soon as you start learning special organizational patterns and structures, it becomes harder to allow the topic to naturally organize itself, and it becomes easier for you to push the topic into a mold or formula. There is nothing worse for your speech than to cram a good topic into a mold that isn't suited for it. When organizing your ideas, you should focus on the big picture. I suggest working backwards. Ask yourself, what do you want the audience to leave with? A logical argument, a claim of value, a course of action, new information? Whatever it is, whatever your goal is, most likely you will make that the last part of your speech, the last point. You will end with the most impactful and important thoughts. Then ask yourself, what does my audience need to know in order for that to make the most sense? That then should be the first part of your speech. Maybe you break that into 2 parts, maybe 3 parts, maybe 1 part. As a side note, I don't abide by the 3-point speech rule. A speech needs only as many points as it takes to get the message across. As a principle, I try to have between 2 and 4 main points in every speech. I don't want to give my audience too much, but I want to give them enough. Once you've decided what the audience needs to know in order to make the final thoughts important, you have to decide how to arrange them. Every speech should be a progression of ideas. One idea is important to understand the next idea, and so forth. No idea should be left to stand on its own without being supported by a previous idea or introducing the next idea. Not only do they have to be connected, but they also have to build on each other. As I already mentioned, they should be leading us to the final thoughts, to the main reason we're listening to the speech. Those ideas need to build on each other. Ideally, as a test of the soundness of your organization, if you were to take out any one main point, the speech wouldn't make sense. Another principle to keep in mind is that the main points have to give the whole picture. Make sure you are covering everything that the topic demands. Part of this relies on good topic selection. If you've not chosen a narrow enough topic, you'll have a hard time covering all the important parts, and you'll leave your audience with more questions. You want to leave your audience with complete answers to everything you've brought up. And if you don't, at least acknowledge that. So let's review. Make sure every choice you make is motivated by the subject matter. Focus on making everything you do work towards the end goal of presenting your topic. Work backwards. Figure out what you want your audience to remember, then decide what they need to know to make that stand out. Main points need to progress us to that end you have planned for us. Let them build on each other, creating a symbiotic relationship between your main points. They need each other. Finally, give your audience the whole picture. Don't leave anything out. If you don't think you can include everything you need to, then it's time to rethink the focus of your speech. There are dozens of specific ways to organize your speech. Problem, cause, solution, topical, chronological, and it's okay to use those. But make sure to use the one that is most appropriate for your topic. No 2 topics are the same. Therefore, each speech requires special care to make sure it is organized in the most logical and effective way possible for the sake of your subject matter.